All right. So, we do have this document, which I think I wrote like 2 years ago and has not been updated. So, I will be taking a look at it, but it's based on other consortiums' policies on shared sandboxes, as well as recommendations from Ex Libris for shared sandboxes. Um, it just kind of when or why you would use a sandbox, some of the policies that I saw, but we don't necessarily have heavy enough use that um, some of them would even be relevant. Let me share this. And this is somewhere on the site too, but I want to make sure that's one of my missions is to kind of make sure that all of this is available for everyone who needs it. Um, this is, how they are structured. Here's the link to the form to get a named account. Um, we also have some forums so that if we do end up with some high use in some of the sandboxes, we can discuss, like, oh, I'm doing this project, don't touch whatever. Um, Here are all of the links. And I am happy to say that we have finally, as of last week, Alma Ex Libris has updated the final sandbox. So it is ready to go. Um, so this is what it looks like. Let me go ahead. I'm going to log out just so that you can see when you come to the sandbox page, there should be an identifier up in the corner um, of which one you are at. And then when you log in, they are like branded to be a specific color. Um, I've also made sure that our like institution name, so we've got Fuji Sandbox, even though this is, like based on one of the colleges. That way it's not confusing, like, no, you're not configuring Everett. Um, these are the standard libraries that are attached. So you can kind of fiddle in one individual library if you want. Um, what you'll see is like the live Alma environments. Uh, we now have discovery, so Primo right in the sandbox. There's, no more Primo back office. So this was a this ended up being the toughest sticking point. Like I got this one, I got Cosmic Crisp refreshed and Discovery still wasn't visible. And I was like, what? No. Um, Analytics doesn't actually work. Um, so if you have a named account, I don't believe I've actually given anyone analytics permissions because it's pointless. It doesn't work in um in the sandbox. The market is a preview of Rialto. So if you want to check out that, um, and the thing that I kind of wanted to show everyone is that if you're using a sandbox for training or even to kind of like figure out what do my circ students see, or like if I give a librarian some permissions but not all permissions, there are quite a few uh quote unnamed accounts um that are just numbered, and I have the list of these almost 20 and what permissions are attached to each of them. And I'm more than happy to just like give you the passwords and login information for those. Um, because the fewer um named accounts, so Kirsty's account and Lori's account and Isaac's account, the fewer of those that we have, the easier it is for me to get it reset up for you when we do a refresh. Um, Now, if you need to create, or if you think you need to create test student accounts, um, you, I mean, those are in here and you can totally see, um, like we've got guests, we have undergraduates, we've got faculty, we have staff, there are graduate students. So you can see how the different um, user groups or permissions line up with the policies that are already in here. Um, I kind of thought, oh, it's no problem to change the names of the libraries or change the names of the locations. But in fact, silly me, um, the layers of Alma are such that, like you can't just do that. So, as kind of annoying, I guess, as it is, as you're when you're thinking about doing some kind of testing and you're like, how will, like my library policy affect this user group, rather than create a new user group in the system, um, just choose a existing user group, and, find and configure a policy to check it. Um, the other thing I kind of wanted to just double check, um, and this may not even be like an immediate change, but currently I have the sandboxes kind of grouped by institution size. Um, Thinking, like we might get one or two named users at one of these small schools, but, Seattle, Spokane, Pierce, they're going to have multiple named users. So hopefully this kind of keeps the number of named users level in each institution. However, what I didn't consider, because not a cataloger, um, is that um, if we really kind of start using the sandbox for cataloging and norm rules and display stuff that has to do with call numbers, on the next refresh cycle, we may want to realign and make sure that all of our Dewey libraries um, are grouped together, so that those um, rules and such can be set um, in the sandbox, because that's an institution level thing. And well, it's easiest if it's an institution level thing. Um, and that way, when you're needing to load records, you're not getting weird display examples. Um, so because you are able to, oh look, Bob Hope, that's funny. You are able to load small sets of records. You can also go into the community zone. So if you're looking for particular collections and you want to, practice activation or deactivation, you can do all of that. And so say you activate something and you want to know how it's going to display there, you can go into um, the discovery view for the sandbox. You can also create a discovery view for the sandbox, um, that uses, or I can help you do this too if you're like, sounds cool, but no. I can create a discovery view with your institution's customization package. Um, so Isaac asks, does anyone else have local authority files and management in addition to LC? I believe Everett is starting up some local authority work this year, but I don't know of anyone else. Elena, does Gadget have local authority files? Yeah, got busy. Yeah, so um Bobby's been in here and made a Pierce College sandbox. We've got, a couple different ones, but even though, like you can just name one for yourself and then if you want, I can help you upload your customization package and then you're able to come in here and say go to view and um and play with things in a view that looks like your Primo. Um, so because there are customizations for um, discovery that you have to activate at uh, the institution level and not just in a view level. So if you want to test some of those things, but you don't want them in your lot you know, to affect your live Primo, that would be a great use of the Primo sandbox. If you are curious about, how acquisitions and the market works. Oh, can we get an NDE sandbox? I don't, yeah, because we can't, because in yours it says create NDE view, doesn't it? Um, yeah, we'll see. They may be, NDE is the new Primo um, discovery experience. And there, I would bet because the May release will push it out for everyone to start trying. I wouldn't recommend just yet. It's still real buggy. Um, I would bet that if we um ask after the May release, they should be able to um tell us like, yeah, we'll put it in your sandbox, just ask. Um so yeah, we'll see. Because yeah, there's just so much with that. Um so yeah, one of the things, so if you've requested a named account, I am kind of working on them. I've got a few people's, nope, you're not an electronic collection, Kirsty. That's gonna come back as a 0. Um, uh, if if you've requested an account, I will kind of do my best to add permissions for you based on what, you said you needed or wanted to look at. Um, oh, that's fun. Um, However, one of I'll make sure that you also have user administrator so you can give yourself more roles, but there are a few um general administration things that can mess up the live version of the institution's uh, settings. So I have not given anyone general administrator permissions just yet. If there's something that comes up and you're like, I really do need to test this thing, I will kind of like make sure that the thing you're testing isn't going to mess up the live, because for whatever reason, um, there are some things where they just kind of borrow slash inherit between the sandbox and the live. And so I don't want anyone inadvertently poking around and messing that up. So plus some stuff, like allowed emails and SFTP, they're just not going to work in the sandbox anyway, because your IPs are going to be different than the, IP of the institution that the sandbox is based on. Um, so I have set up quite a few folks who are in the call right now. Who did I get done to this morning? Elena, Isaac, Kim Mitchell. You guys are all set up. I think Bobby and Kirsty, I already set you guys up. And then my next chunk this afternoon should be anyone else. If you haven't requested one, oh, great. Yeah. And once I kind of get this initial setup done, I'm gonna give Bobby the backup administrator access so that if I get hit by a bus, there is someone with all the permissions and can set them up. And he's gonna be our little co-sandbox person. So yeah, so fill out this form. If you think you haven't requested one or you haven't, don't worry about duplicates. Not a big deal. Um, I'll check out the forum. I think I would love for this to kind of eventually be where we move some of our conversations instead of the listserv, because this is a private forum and it's not indexed by search engines. So it's by no means, let's not pretend it's not secure. However, it is I think a little bit more secure, and also kind of allows us to keep conversation threads across several months more easily searchable. I mean, you can't search the archives of the listserv, which makes me a little nuts. Um, so yeah, so I've set up all of these different areas. I'm currently not logged in, but like good luck finding this. And I think I can lock down the privacy a little more, but I wanted to leave it up until people got signed up. Um, and there are user groups, so this could become like a mailing list announcement, listserv type function as well. And it's free. Um,
Yeah,
so
Carly, that my question on this is there any kind of push notification?
I
Because
don't, I might be able, I think I can set up some kind of,
okay,
yeah, because I think you can set up your own preferences to notify on the various forums.
okay,
So you could choose like, yeah, I don't care if there's a conversation in norm rules. I do care if there's one in Primo, which was kind of the other reason why I was like, this could be great, because then people who don't care about stuff could ignore it. Um, so yes, because and honestly, it's been like a year and a half since I set this up. So I don't remember all the functionality, but I tried out like 6 different forum things, trying to get the one that had like the best kind of uh setup. Um, let's see if I can. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm probably gonna have to go through all of that again. But yeah, so we'll play with it and, see what works. But for now I really set it up. Um, oh yeah, you can agree to receive forum news by email. Um, so yeah, it would be like the listserv, and maybe it won't get spam blocked like the listserv is for folks right now. Um, but the big thing was I was really hoping, like if someone starts a project in one of these sandboxes or makes some kind of change, the opportunity to put a comment out there and say, "Hey, I've done this, please don't touch it," or um, "Hey, I, like have a question about this policy in here," or whatever. Um, those, it would give us some place to discuss. So, um, yeah, so take a look around on this. I'm going to make sure that this sandbox uses and everything, we get a guide for the sandboxes now that all three are up and running. And I will link to the sign up, and I will link to the user forum. Um, and I'll, like put the policies in there. But yeah, all three are active. They're tagged. So if you go to this page, you'll see them, or if you go to our resources page, you can do shared content. And well, right now it's also all the Hein Online stuff, but you could also limit by Ex Libris, and then you get the three. Um, and yeah, um, so that's kind of the state of stuff right now. Um, Everything was, like so outdated. It had not been updated in so long, that I really had no idea who was using the sandboxes or how or what had been changed. And they certainly didn't look like our live Alma environments. So I'm just happy that finally Ex Libris. I mean, like some of these, I think one of the requests I put in, they had completely refreshed it in 10 days, absolutely no issues. Another one took like 2 months. And then this last one, I think I put the request in September or October. It didn't get updated till January. And then like we still didn't have the discovery module until um I don't like a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, I've given everybody Cloud App permissions so that you can play around with those. I've given everybody the chat with support permission so that if you are having an issue, um, you can chat with support. I think those are two really important ones that for some reason aren't included in any of the default roles. Um, so, and if you have, staff that are doing any of the certs um, for Alma or Primo, and there's now an e-resources one, let me know. Happy to get you access to an account for those. Would anyone like to see where the current certification page is and how to get into all that? Because it has changed. Um, and I don't know. Um, yeah, so just as kind of like an FYI, um, I will email out the individual named logins. Generally speaking, I have them all set to like force new password, but I'm trying to stick with like first letter, last name, and then password with a capital P, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, um, so that I don't have to try and remember a bunch of them and email them out wrong to you. Um, um, oh, it wants your password to match something else? No idea. But it's been 2 seconds, 5 months since I got in there, so I could take a poke around and help you out with that. Um, um, but yeah, let's look at the certs. Um, so I'll gotta find, I'll just go into knowledge base somewhere. Um, and so, and now I gotta find it. That's the releases. I think it's in here. Nope, just kidding. Ah, training. There it is. Okay. So, knowledge center, and then in the specific product, then you can go to training, and you can see Alma administration certification. And then you show all topics, and it's a bunch of the videos. So you can go in this way and check them, or you can go to the overview page. Um, and this is where things, I think, changed. I don't remember the way it was before. But they're using Library Software Academy um, to do the certifications. And it says use your support portal account for SSO. This is misleading. You do not have to have a support portal account to create a certification account in Library Software Academy. So you'll come in here and it will say, like sign in, but once you get to this other, no, here, you can say register, and you can just say register for um you can just say that you need to register for the Library Software Academy. So then you get in here and yeah. Okay. And so you can see I've like registered for 3, um, the admin Alma Primo and the e-resource management. Um, there's also some in Spanish. Don't do Old Primo. And then I'll eventually get to the acquisitions one, but I wanted to finish the other ones. Um, Once you click into it, you can choose to go through all of the lessons. Or if you scroll down, I'm pretty sure because I was able to just, oh yeah, go to course syllabus. And so I was like, I just went to the test for Alma certification because I hadn't done it in like 5 years. So I was like, whatever. And so then it'll just tell you how many questions, what the time limit is, and you can start the test. So yeah, so you don't have to watch every single video. You just go to the syllabus and then go to the test. And then if like want to go back and search the Knowledge Center or something, you can. Uh, but yeah, so if you have any issues registering on the, what is it? It is the support site. And now I'm already logged in. But if you have any issues registering, like let me know. Let your support admin for your institution know. Um, and we can get you sorted out so that you can get certified if you want to. Yeah, so but it's a little weird and buried because it's now in this third party interface. Um, of course, there's always the Essentials series, which are great for new employees. And then there's the Become an Expert, uh, which I never know how to find. The Become an Expert, no, oh, select a product. Nah, okay. I'm just gonna search it this way. Um, okay. All right, so they're under trainings as well and webinars, but the Become an Expert series, they do have like certificates. If you watch everything, I think you can, like download a certificate or something. Um, but these are nice for a little more practical application and picking and choosing, or finding where documentation lives in the knowledge center. So, and all of these are great opportunities to go and play in the sandbox, and mess around with those. Not the analytics one because it won't work, but um, yeah. There's see, and there should so there's lots of there should be a yeah. Um, yeah. Um, anyway, so that's kind of how the sandbox can interact with documentation and certification from Ex Libris, some of the resources that we have on the website, how to find those links. Like I said, I'll get like a sandbox page up now that they're all live. Um, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to kind of digging into using the sandbox more. Um, e- Especially with uh, like when we can get an NDE in the sandbox environment, because then we can start playing with, like how do things show up in Primo if a record is like this, or what normals do we need to use, or what have you. Um, so yeah. Um, Tomorrow I will be heading to the west side. I'll be at Green River and Puyallup Pierce in the afternoon. On Thursday, I will be visiting Highline College. And on Friday, I will be at the Washington Library Association conference. I think I saw a few community college attendees. So if you know anyone from your college who's attending, um, you can tell them to give me a shout out. Um, I will attempt to check email periodically, um, but kind of depends on how busy I get, and how often I want to, drag out my laptop to really deal with things, but it is on my phone. Um, and then I'm back over the weekend. So next week, totally normal. And uh, yeah. I sent out a message to the Alma listserv um, about uh, the April 29th open call. Um, there's a third party but partner of State Board, um, or State Board is contracting with them. I don't really know. Anyway, they're doing a training called Getting Started with Manual Testing for Accessibility. Um, it's totally free and it's 10 to 11 on April 29th. So I think most people will be interested in that. And I figured it was a good use of the reserved hour to just share that and allow folks to register. We also have, I sent this out to the library director listserv, so I hope they shared it. But there's also the, let me see, Northwest Heat is doing a series of accessibility webinars. Let me grab that information. The first one already happened. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Let's open up this. Okay, so Northwest Heat, this is their knowledge base, but if we go to events, and I'll share this in the chat. They're doing a documentary accessibility series. So those are all here and you can register for those. Also in the 10 to 11 o'clock hour, but I think they're all Thursdays except the last one's a Wednesday. And then recordings of previous accessibility sessions. So really great resource if you're working on accessibility. I know that Library Leadership Council will be discussing accessibility in May. I am kind of putting together a resource redirect page. Orbis Cascade has put out an accessibility kind of summary. It wasn't loading yesterday, so we'll see if it wants to. Yay! Okay. Accessibility standing group, and they have their accessibility toolkit, um, a remediation checklist, and Amy has put out a statement, which is where? Is it in training maybe? Yeah, yes, accessibility of web content. So she has done a Title II summary and a 504 summary. It's a little bit buried, so I'll share that link as well. So rather than, redo all of this work, I'm just going to point point to things like this, as well as other organizations that are doing that work. I'm putting together a basic like list of where to find the accessibility information for our vendors, for our e-resources. But again, I'm not going to like put all that content in because it changes. So I'll just provide links and some descriptions. I'm doing a license page, so collect terms of use, so that we can have, the definitions of who is an authorized user, um, which vendors allow ILL under what terms, that kind of stuff. So not intended to be necessarily um, perfect, but at least someplace quick to reference. Because I'd love to, in the sandbox, start uploading licenses to different collections and see how that displays in Discovery. I think it's something that is underutilized and, so often faculty want to know, can I use this in a course pack? Or librarians want to know if they can print it out for a student or, do they need to send a link? So whatever, gonna play around with that in the sandbox. Um, yeah, kind of a meandering topic day, but just wanted to give everyone an update on the sandbox thing in particular. Um, The last sandbox refresh was Cosmic Crisp, and it was officially in January. They had to do like a little adjustment to get us the Discovery module. Um, and I think uh the who was the first one? Who did I know? So I think Fuji was the first one that was updated, and that was probably about 18 months ago. And Gala was about a year ago, and Cosmic Crisp then was, 2 months ago. So Fuji will be the next to kind of get a refresh if we get to a point where people are using it and um, messing around with out of the box and then want it cleaned up again. Um, I originally, I think, was thinking that I would refresh them every single summer, but they just get such light use that I think I'll probably just do like every 2 years or so. Um, Unless someone's like, "Welp, totally messed that up. Let's refresh." Um, and then I'll notify the users that it's happening and um, not do it until you're like, "Yeah, we're good," or not in the middle of a project. Um, and then you know, we'll just have one down at a time. Um, the accessibility testing one was through, oh gosh, Monica Olson sent it out from the state board. Let me look. What did she say? It is from a group called Pope Tech. Um, and it is, um, and I guess she said event is not hosted by SBCTC, but I guess they found these. Um, but um, so yeah, and the Northwest Heat ones are nonprofit, you know, collaborative, higher ed based. Um, so and I believe like Orbis Cascade supports it in some way. Um, so it's, pretty great. But yeah, so even more stuff here. It I'm not sure how much product demo versus uh actual instruction the Pope Tech one will be. Um, it may at least give us some kind of, checklist or framework for, doing accessibility work. Um, of course, there's so many tools out there that are free, even if it is a product demo, if there's a specific function of the product that you really want, we can probably find it through another thing. And it's interesting, powered by Wave. The Wave um Chrome plugin, I think, broke on the last Chrome update. So that's another part of the accessibility resource because we have the YouTube accessibility video that I did on all the like accessibility testing web browser plugins. Um, and two of them have since gotten uh, decommissioned based on Chrome updates. So that is very much a changing landscape as well. But um, yeah, I didn't Yeah. I mean, like, it looks like they have some, actual instructional stuff and not just product. So we shall see. Um, all right. Anything else? There's a few folks that I know I want to follow up with. Isaac laptop holds. Kirsty, let's get something on the books for ILL. Uh, is there anything else before we kind of sign off and I head on to the road? Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.